Hi, this is John Malvey from my Bookkeeper software. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the new features that appear in Bookkeeper 24. The enhancements I'm about to show are really just ease of use enhancements, and there's really no major features that are involved in the new release. So the first one I want to show you is just a way to quickly get to the payroll configuration when you're using advanced payroll. So from the menu, there's a new menu option called Configure and Payroll Setup Options. And if you click this, it'll bring you directly to the payroll setup. So if you need to make any changes to wages, taxes, and so forth, you can just do it here. It's the same thing as if you were to go from the company menu, company information, additional tab, and click payroll. So you end up in the same spot, but it just saves you a few clicks. Another feature with advanced payroll is an easier way to be able to get at past payroll runs. So when you go in to start doing a payroll run, you'll see that there's history buttons here for the payroll run as well as each individual person that you have set up. So if I click on history, it's going to show me all of the different payroll runs for this particular cycle. And I can just easily just go in and select one, and it'll bring me right here. And in the previous versions of Bookkeeper, there was a link here to be able to view or modify the details about a particular paycheck. That's been replaced by this icon here. So if I click this, it brings me up to the same screen that the link was before. All right, but a new option here is that we can also quickly void a check that was in a previous payroll run. So just by clicking this here, you'll be able to mark this check as being void, and then finish out the wizard, and then that will void the check. So it's just a quick way to be able to avoid the check. In the past, what you have to do, and which still works, is that you have to go to search and search the checks for advanced payroll and go that way. This is just an easier way to get to that same problem, that same area. The other thing we have with payroll is for basic payroll. So I'm going to open up a basic payroll company. And there were some new options with certain states that I just kind of wanted to bring to your attention. So for Indiana, Iowa, and Montana, there are new fields that need to be set for doing payroll in 2024. And so as not to clutter up the user interface too much, there is a new options button that will appear if there are options for a particular state. So in the case of Indiana, if I click it, there are specific fields that need to get completed here. And then if I were to look at Iowa, I have the same, these are different fields that are just kind of related to Iowa. So if the state you're using is not affected by this, you will not see this options button. So if you do see it here, then those are different settings that you should apply to the employees before you run payroll for 2024. For advanced payroll, it's a little bit different in that these options just show right on the screen when you're setting up the employee. So there's no options button. It's just there along with all the other pieces of information you need to set up for the tax calculations. But again, you should go in, if you are in any of those states that have new fields that need to be set in, you should do that for 2024. Okay, so those are the payroll updates. There is also a quick update to invoices where we can now show the balance of an invoice on the invoice details. So you'll see here, if I pull up an existing invoice, it'll show me what the balance is right here. Just a quick view of that. Another option we can do is for doing $0 payables. And this came up when we have a situation where you have a vendor credit, and maybe that vendor credit is going to be applied to the full amount of another invoice upcoming for that vendor, and so it nets the payable to zero, but you want to enter everything, in Bookkeeper. So what I did, I set up a situation here where I have a vendor credit. All right, so if I look at here, I can see that I have a credit for $75 for this particular vendor. And now if I go to create a payable for that vendor, I'm just going to put in some basic information here. All right, and if I put in, let's say my new invoice for this vendor is going to be $75, but I also want to apply that credit for $75, I can select it here. Now this results in a $0 payable. The Bookkeeper now will allow you to save that. Previous versions it didn't allow that, but now you can save it. You'll get a message that says it's a $0 payable. It's going to be marked as paid. You want to continue. And so you can do that, and then it'll mark the invoices being paid. And that's it. So those are some of the new features that I wanted to call out to everybody for Bookkeeper 2024. So thanks for watching, and thanks for being a Bookkeeper customer.